Hello, my name is Davis Young, and I'm here to give my critique of The Brood. Our film opens up with two characters in a dark space. The character to the left says to the character to the right that he isn't looking at him. He says that that's weak. The character to the right says, I want to look at you, but I just can't. The next thing that the character says to the left is that he should have been born as a girl. As the scene goes on, he is trying to anger the guy to the right. When suddenly we don't see just a dark space, we see a sort of auditorium looking place. And then moments later we see a new character. We don't know who it is. As the scene goes on, the character to the right eventually becomes angry, and the two hug. And then the lights go out. And the man that walked in late, well, the man to the left, the man that walked in late, said that the man's a genius. Not much detail, but you know. So the lights go back on, but only like the front lights. And it is most likely the assistant of the place saying that Dr. Raglan would like to thank everyone for coming. And he finally says that their bus is waiting for them. So, let's talk about a few things, alright? So Dr. Raglan, he is supposedly the character to the left. Okay, so the character to the right is Michael. Probably one of his patients. This is a live screening. Not screening, but live showing. So, this is most likely our introduction to the film. Setting up all our characters. So the purpose of this scene is to show that Dr. Raglan is trying to anger a patient until a guy walks into the room. So, this is our start of the film. We don't know anything about the plot. We don't know much about the characters. But we do know that one, that the film opens up. Alright, that's our scene. And our next scene begins with everyone walking out of the theater. Yes, it's the theater. So the character that we saw walk in late goes to this set of stairs where there is a sign that says private rooms or something like that. And he goes up the stairs and then goes to one of the rooms, opens the door, and sees a little girl who's been drawing pictures of, you know what little girls draw. Alright. And then he calls her name Candy. And the little girl turns around and says, "Oh daddy, oh daddy." Knowing that he is the father. And that is that. Everyone leaves the place, supposedly. Most of the people go by bus. Somofree is the institution. So, yeah. But Candace and her father arrived by car. When they get home, here's what happens. The little girl is taking a bath. When the father says to turn around. And then he sees scratches on her back. This is a very shocking scene. So the father rushes back to Somofree, back to the institution. And in the next scene, we see Dr. Raglan coming out of one of the rooms in his office with a towel on. And his assistant, who's named Chris, says that Mr. Karavith is getting a little anxious about the whole thing. That is when Dr. Raglan says to bring him in. Frank goes into the room, and Dr. Raglan offers a handshake, but Frank refuses. Frank says that he wants to see his wife, Nola, who has, no, scratch that, he wants to see Nola, but Dr. Raglan won't allow it because she is under intensive therapy. This is when Frank responds, saying that he lets, he lets Nola see Candace on the weekends. This is when Dr. Raglan replies, saying that's different. That was built from the very start. So there's a connection now between these two characters, Dr. Raglan and Frank. So, I guess the scene goes on. Frank says that he's going to take Candace and not bring her back until things get better. But Dr. Raglan refuses, saying that he has no legal action or legal right to deny access to that. But Frank is willing to go to court for it. That is when Dr. Raglan says that there has to be another explanation for the whole thing happening. We don't know anything about these scratches, so that is when Frank says, "You're not seeing her." Until that explanation is found. Alright. This is the end of part 1. See me for part 2.